Whoa. Whoa.
We promise we'll try to make it worth your while. No guarantees.
Try.
Wait, crap.
Like the dysfunctional Brady Bunch here.
Oh, we might have some audio issues again. GT has been messing with OpenCore.
All right, can you hear me now? My audio was turned all the way down. All right, should be able to hear me now. But, okay, anyways, the guy down below us is a new member, permanent member of MacYak now. So let's all, yay!
By the way.
Huh?
Steve was totally against it.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a majority vote. I said no, but I was outnumbered. Same thing happened with Bruce, damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks, yeah. Anyways, but welcome, Dana. Thank you for being a member of the team here.
I appreciate it very much.
Yep.
And the awesome responsibility that comes with it.
Yes.
Yes,
And
you successfully bribed all of us. Good job.
So tonight, we only have 2 original members tonight on this show, and that's me and Jay. So, yeah, we're the OG members. But
Checks in the mail.
you see what happens. We start inviting these guys. They hang around,
Yeah,
and then
rest
they
of us
just,
are ringing.
they just never leave.
Philip says Trina is next. Who knows? We got some more screen space on this side, so
We're gonna be like the 32 people FaceTime is gonna look like nothing after we're done
Right.
a year. So
But
see
it's all going to be on
pixels moving.
Skype, though, man. One of these days, we're going to have to do a show again back in the old thing, but I don't know if I want to do that.
Dizzy.
I don't know if I want to do that for one simple fact is that the audio from that gets captured from the desktop, and it's a pain in the butt to do a window capture off of it. That's the reason why I had it on a separate monitor
Yeah,
the whole
and
time.
some of us don't have machines running Mojave and had to think of clever solutions to make sure our phone didn't die for a 2-hour stream.
Yeah, like rubber banding
a lot
a.
of duct tape was used.
No, duct tape. Duct tape was the tool of choice.
So
Steve
guys,
running off
you
that
see what we go through
He's
every
using
time
Treva.
to keep this show, keep you guys entertained. You know, that's our main goal is to keep you guys entertained, keep you coming back.
Entertained.
Yeah. So anyways, we got a pretty good show tonight for you. We got a few topics. We're going to do our game again tonight. So think of some of the stuff that we had last week. If you guys are new, think up some stuff because when we come to game time, that's when we're going to ask you to put it in there. Okay.
Yep.
So think of them now. All right. So any new subscribers we've gotten, thank you for joining us. I know we got a few new ones. We still haven't got out of the 600s. We're still getting close to 700, which means that we're still 300 something away from giving away the MacBook. So go to episode number 69 if you want to learn how to join the giveaway. Invite your friends. Tell them to come on over. You know, if you know somebody that likes this kind of stuff, likes listening to us rant and rave and do all other kind of things, come by all means, bring them over, you know.
Oh, thank you for subscribing, Jordan. Appreciate it.
There we go.
Recognize
Just
me
subscribe.
from my stream.
Yep. Actually, Jordan, make sure you go watch episode 69 because we are doing a giveaway. I won't tell you how we're doing it because it's a special way. You have to actually watch the episode in order to understand how to do it. Okay. All right.
And there is
First,
a question in the chat about the computer over Steve's shoulder. Steve, you going to tell us what that one is?
Ooh.
This is a G3 mini tower from
Okay.
1998.
Ooh.
There we go.
And where have we seen that Mac before in the past few days?
You've seen it going through its paces on my stream where I've been shoving graphics through this lovely Voodoo 2 card. Video memory.
You know what's funny about that, Steve, is I actually saw a video the other day, or yesterday as a matter of fact, a guy taking a Voodoo 2 card and adding memory to it.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
It's nice you saw that.
Huh? I'll have to show you the link. I'll send the link to you. But he added because it came without the memory on the back of the card.
I will only say I am aware of the video and that I have made efforts to
He
duplicate.
has made notes. Dun, dun, dun.
Hasn't he ordered the memory?
Not no. Yes, maybe. Who knows?
You ordered the chips though, right?
Sure. We'll see if I'm successful or not and what the heck I'm doing.
It'll make a good stream either way.
Exactly.
True that.
Either we're gonna laugh at you really hard or be like, "Wow, he was actually able to do it."
I house on fire. Oh, he got to work. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Nah.
It ran UT great for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Put it on itself.
And then
Let
he
the
just
smoke-
sat there while we just slaughtered him in UT because he couldn't get it working again. So he just sat there.
Oh, that won't be the case. I'll hop on another machine, log in.
Yeah, he was. He did a little. I mean, everybody should go and watch the stream, obviously. But he demoed Unreal Tournament on that card, and it ran really well.
Very
and,
impressive.
It was very
He
impressive.
was
yeah.
he was very impressed with his own skills until I added a bunch of bots to the game.
And I still came out on top. I asked you to add one bot. You added 10.
And yes, I
So
know.
Jay can't count.
You should have added.
Just
You
a
should have added 50 bots, Jay.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day,
Just-
we're
just
just
chugging.
interested in making the stream better.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's what we want to do. That's our goal, is to actually help you guys out. You guys, we get our main fans here. I mean, we see the same names a lot here, and we appreciate that. I like seeing the same names here. In fact, Dana was here that's the reason why he's now stuck with us. So,
One.
True.
all right, guys. So, first topic of the evening. Let me get over to my handy dandy thing here. First topic of the evening. This came out a couple of days ago. It was on a rumor site. Apple is rumored to be getting rid of the Lightning port on the iPhone. Okay, and we're not talking about just getting rid of the port for another port like USB-C or something like that. They're talking about getting rid of the port completely, like no port at all on the iPhone. So how
It makes sense.
Yeah. So how do we feel about that?
From Apple's perspective, it makes sense because of all that new law going around in Europe where every phone has to have the exact same port so that people can use the same chargers and same cables for whatever brands they have. Of course, Apple's not going to go back to, old USB micro or whatever. Maybe other brands don't want to get on board with USB-C, so getting rid of the port completely would make sense.
Yeah, but
my issue is that this Lightning port is slow as hell.
oh, it is, yes.
And these things are shooting 4K video now. I have to wait hours to import my camera roll into photos.
It's faster.
It's, gonna
It's
be
probably
even
faster over
slower if you do
Wi-Fi,
it
right?
wireless. Yeah. So I don't know.
To be honest with you, I
It's-
think airdropping it is faster than the Lightning port.
Oh, it definitely is. I had a 7 gigabyte video. Now the computer was taking its time to convert it. I airdropped it and it was done in 5-6 minutes. It would have taken 20-30 minutes to copy it over USB 2.
And I agree with you on that. Now, here's the drawback of not having a port on it, okay?
There's a
lot. Okay, one of them, the very first one is what happens if you have to restore your iPhone? Okay, you get it to where you have to restore the software. You can't do it if it's wireless.
I assume they'll build something into it.
The watch right now, the Apple Watch is completely portless. Okay, and if you
No,
brick,
there's a port on it. There's a service.
service port. Okay, but it's not nothing that. Yeah, there's underneath.
There's-
It's
underneath where the band.
one of the band.
connects.
I think it's the top band.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on, I have to see this.
Hang on, yeah,
Little
wait.
4 pins. Yep.
However, it's not a port that users can actually use right now. I mean, it's
Well, the whole point of having a port like that is so if your thing gets messed up and you have to bring it back to Apple or something, they could run some diagnostics on it. I
it's not on
don't
that side.
think that this rumor of a wireless iPhone is going to happen this year or even next year. I think this is something that it'll be interesting to see how this develops, but I'm firmly in the camp of there needs to be a physical port on the darn thing because I want a physical port on the darn
well.
thing.
Taj in the chat there says there was a leaked OS recovery feature in iOS 13. So
Yeah, I mean, but there's always no code is perfect. There's always a way that that's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And then what do you do?
But
then?
here's the thing, though: is if your software is corrupted, there's nothing you can do. That software recovery is not going to work. I don't care what you do, unless you have a recovery partition in there, maybe.
Just like the recovery partition of the OS. What happens if
I
something
see
gets
no port on this thing, by the way.
It's covered. You can't see it. It's got like a little door. You put it under your microscope, you'll see it.
Can I peel it off? Is that it?
There's a little pinhole thing in there.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see the pinhole.
Yeah, that's the little door.
What?
It's a little door right there.
Alice and the White Rabbit are right behind you.
All right. I need to try this. I'm going to poke it, see what happens.
No, I mean, I'm all for making things faster, and if they slap a super fast Wi-Fi chip in there, and I could download my photos without waiting hours, that's nice. But why doesn't Apple just put a stupid USB-C port on it? Nobody likes Lightning anyway.
Well, and
It's a proprietary
USB-C is
piece of
basically
hardware.
being put on everything. That would solve the European problem because everything's going to USB-C.
Exactly. That Apple just wants to be tightly in control of their hardware. And look, I understand that nobody likes being told what to do by anybody. So if I'm Apple and someone says you got to put a USB-C port on it, and I go, well, I want to do things in the future with Lightning or Lightning 2 or whatever they want to put on that phone, that would supersede USB-C. And it's going to be, I haven't read the legislation, but from what I understood from it is, they want everybody to use the same adapter. Well, what happens when USB-C 2 comes out? There's going to be, every phone within the next 5 years has to adopt USB-C 2 or whatever.
Well, I agree with you there, but also remember the new iPad Pro that came out has USB-C on it.
USB-C. Yep.
So
Well, also the iPad Pro, I believe, has USB 3 transfer speeds on itself. Which, if I had USB 3 speeds on this phone with a USB-C port, I wouldn't have to wait forever for photos to download.
exactly,
from.
yep.
So I don't care what port they put on there, as long as they keep a port on there, because I want to charge it super fast from a cable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use one of these 7.5, 5 watt wireless chargers, which, yeah, it'll sit there and it'll charge it, but you're going to be waiting so much longer than you are for a hard-coded
Well,
cable.
here's the thing.
And what if you're
on the
in a
chart
situation
the thing on
you can't use one?
Yeah, the thing on the charging too, and you hit the nail on the head here, Steve, is that you lose so much in the transfer from the pad to the iPhone as far as energy that I actually have a battery pack that I bought that Mophie sells, and it's basically wireless. Okay, all wireless. So it charges the phone wirelessly, and it charges wirelessly. However, it only charges 1/4 of the battery, even though the battery's thicker than what's in the phone. Okay, and its milliamp hours is rated more, but because the transfer between the case and the phone, there's a lot lost in that transfer.
Yeah, just think that Apple couldn't even perfect one of their charging pads that they were going to come out with for the phone.
I was
and
about
watch.
to say that, yep.
And we're supposed to be living in this wireless future. This wireless charging stuff has been on Android for a few years, and it just came out in the iPhone with the iPhone 8. It's fairly new stuff. I think maybe in the future they'll remove the port from it. I don't see it happening within the next 2 years because a lot of people still rely on a cord. And what is Apple going to do when you buy your phone? Are they going to include a wireless charging bay and everything? No.
No, exactly. You got that. You hit that right on the head too.
They don't even include a power adapter with most of their devices.
Well, I think they would probably do it at first, like the first generation would have it, just like they did with the Lightning to phone jack. Okay, when they took the headphone jack out, they put that in the first generation. Then after that, they stopped doing it.
Well, let me ask a question then to everybody. What would this solve? What would making a portless iPhone solve?
Nothing.
It could be more waterproof and thinner.
Already pretty damn waterproof. So
Not enough. It has to be as thin as a piece of paper before people are happy.
I mean, this thing is what, water resistant or whatever the heck the classification is. I see no pros to losing the port that would make me be like, okay, yeah, I could live with that because it has this.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
most
I
of the
don't either.
decisions they've been making in the past few years have no pros. They can't. They and I'm gonna go on record and just state it flat out. They have no clue how to innovate. They're panicking. They're freaking out The few
Courage.
smart people they had are gone. They're either dead or working at Tesla, and now all they can do is make it thinner and take stuff away.
Yep.
That's all they
Actually,
got left.
the new MacBook Air is slightly thicker, or was it 13-inch or whatever?
Yeah, how many people got fired because of that?
Oh, you made it thicker? Oh, nope, you're gone.
Oh man, unacceptable. Mm-mm. Nope.
I mean, I assume that there are probably some, sort of manufacturing cost savings, perhaps, by removing that. I mean,
20%.
because that seems to be what Apple are interested in a lot at the moment, is reducing costs, in terms of their manufacturing.
Maybe
Apple's
patents,
tendency to
you know?
adapt to consumer criticism is nothing short of glacial. So they finally got rid of their butterfly keyboards. They finally, gave us a bigger MacBook with the 16-inch. They didn't give us a 17-inch because, why do that? But slowly they have started to change some of the things that people have been complaining about for years. And then they go do something like this where they're just going to make a portless phone. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I like Scarlet Swordfish's comment. Let's start our own Apple with ports.
Well, you know what?
So, I mean, look, there was an argument that was very similar to this back in the days of the G3, colourful G3s coming out, the first computer that didn't have a floppy drive in it. Now, people were sort of basically arguing at the time how important floppy drives were, and they were all very valid arguments at the time. But as Steve has pointed out in his videos, you can always just go and buy an external floppy drive and plug it in. You take away the port,
You can't plug it in.
you can't drill a
Can't
hole
plug
in
anything
there.
in.
Actually, Bruce, Strange Parts did that on an iPhone 7. He put a port back into it, the audio port
I saw
back
that,
into
yeah.
it.
Yeah, well, consumers ain't gonna.
Yeah,
do
exactly. But you can do it. You can drill a hole into it. And he proved it could be done.
I don't know. I'm happy with my current phone. I upgrade once every few years now because I used to be, every year or every 2 years I would get another one. I wanted a better camera because, my kid is growing up. I want good pictures, but I don't know. My next phone might be a flip phone or any other brands that takes pictures well and lets me make phone calls. I'm not paying $1,500, which is where the prices are going at this pace, for a phone with no ports and no customization. Or I finally gave in last year and I spent money on a dongle. It splits off my Lightning to Lightning and headphone, so I can charge my phone while I'm recording videos and hook up a little lapel mic at the same time. Yeah. And no, I need at least that one dongle to be able to record video and record. I can't imagine what I would do with no ports. Can't imagine.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I think for the time being, there's always going to be a need to have something hardwired to charge it. Apple took away the headphone port, and they're shoving down wireless headphones down your throat. But they haven't been shoving wireless charging down your throat, and until they do that, the port is here to stay.
I agree with you. I
Hey, you can hold up those AirPods, but we all know that Bluetooth audio quality sucks. You would not make a video with that. So,
no.
I don't see it happening.
I mean, I did my live earlier today with them on, and it helped.
I know, and that was loud as.
Well,
It was loud.
Yeah, it's better than being low, right?
Absolutely. I could hear every word.
So yeah, I figured that out. So I was like, let me try these just on this, and
Yeah, if not for anything, they should have more ports on the damn phone. Put 2 Lightning ports on it. Come on, you have an accessory port on the iPad. Put 2 on the damn phone.
Give us SCSI.
Right.
yeah.
Okay, SCSI port. I want an HDMI 40.
Taj had said something in chat here. He goes, once Apple does something, the industry follows. Remember the iMac G3, MacBook Air, and iPhone 7. He's right. I mean, Apple does something like that, and everyone else has to go and copy. I mean,
So Apple made a stupid keyboard on their laptop. So everybody
no,
else
I
has
don't
to go
think
and
they're
make a stupid-
copying that.
No, they're not that stupid
Yeah.
yet.
Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. That,
No, but
Dell
it's
wasn't
funny though
introducing a
because
flat-
all these companies made fun of Apple for getting rid of the audio, the audio jack, and
Samsung had their commercial with that, and then now theirs doesn't have
exactly.
it
So
Yeah.
That's why I said it's so funny about it, is that they were complaining or making fun of it, and then they go and do it. All right.
There's a place. I know that, people geeking out, they might want to play with it. They go all in on all this wireless stuff. I get it. But even today, when wireless AC, what is the next one after AC? I think there's a new one. You're still not competing with Ethernet, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You're still
You're
not
never going to
competing.
compete with Ethernet.
And it's the
never.
same with all this, with Bluetooth and all this other wireless technology. It's cute.
It has
But-
its purpose for some applications.
Well,
you're not going to beat it for professionals.
Just ask Grudy about that.
No.
That's all he ever uses.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I wish Grudy was here to defend the Wi-Fi phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So, all right, guys. So, anyways, let's go ahead and move along. Man, that one lasted a while. I knew it was going to. That's why I brought it out. So,
Well, I didn't know Dana was gonna, cut in there with all those big words and stuff, making us all look
I
bad.
know.
Yeah, tone it down, dude. It's your first episode. Come on.
I actually spent most of that time trying to figure out why my Skype was lagging about 30 seconds behind.
What?
Wi-Fi?
I had to. Speaking of Wi-Fi, I had to switch my Wi-Fi networks because
Ah.
my 5G was slower than the regular.
Dang it.
Oopsie.
So
We're going to call you Grudy number 2.
mine's
Shots fired.
Your job it is already.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. This one's going to be a fun one here. I don't know if any of you
Fun for
guys.
you.
It's fun for both me and Jay, I think, because I don't know if you guys remember. I think it was episode 69.
I'm going to take that.
What that one was in, or was it after? Jay, I can't remember.
I think it was
What?
69.
Was it 69 or
yeah, I
70?
think it was the sweepstakes announcement.
Yeah, whichever one that
episode.
was. Anyways, we had this
Sweepstakes
little
giveaway.
thing going on about the T2 chip. We were talking about it. And it got into the point where we started talking about Apple and iCloud lock. And then Rocky said, well, no, I can unlock any iPhone. I'm like, oh, really? So basically, he threw down the challenge, and I actually sent him a properly locked iPhone, iCloud locked phone that I can't get into. And guess what? If you look at the title there, basically, he didn't do it. So, just to remind everybody real quick, I want to play a little video that Jay put together that basically shows this is what he had said. So, I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and we'll be right back. If some user brings an iPhone and just tosses it into a bin to recycle, and they don't turn off Find My iPhone, then guess what? Apple will not do it and will not take it off of there no
That's
matter
false.
what. Okay?
That is false. That is false. Only to individuals
Nope.
and only to little businesses that aren't attached to them.
Nope.
You can do that. Verizon and other companies, when you return those phones, nobody.
In it too, correct?
But hold on. Are we talking about you installing an MDM profile and cooperating with this process? Or are you taking my phone and doing that to my phone?
Yeah,
Because if you
Yes.
want to do that whole thing to my phone, it ain't happening.
exactly. That's what I'm trying to
without
tell
me
And
you.
I will prove
cooperating.
you wrong because I could do that with my phone without cooperating. Just take the phone
No.
as it
Okay.
is right now. It
Take
is
your
linked. It is
personal phone,
linked. It
not
could
the
lock.
company
Yes.
issued phone. Not
That's
the
what I'm
company
saying.
issued.
I'm talking
no.
to you
Not
on
to
my
go on
company
too
phone.
long, but
Next-
I am
next
looking
week
forward
we-
to that proof.
We want a live demo next
I want a
week.
live
Yes,
demo of that.
Absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
I will do it.
Yours, you get a phone.
I tell you what, Rocky, I got a challenge for you then, because
All right.
I actually have this phone right here is iCloud locked.
All right.
I will send it to you. If you unlock it and send it back, then that will prove it.
All right.
All right. Challenge is set.
But I want to see it unlocked because
Live.
Yeah, I want to see it live on camera. Because if this is one, if
All
you
right.
can unlock this one, then I will believe you. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not talking
I
about your
accept the
phone
challenge.
because I know that
No.
you're. Yeah.
I'm saying that phone. I will do it. I will do it.
Okay.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'm up for the challenge. And if it doesn't work the way that I've had it work, then you will prove me wrong.
All right, guys, we're back now, back live and with you. So that was just a
That was
little.
a recap for anybody who was confused.
Yeah, some of you guys were confused, but that was actually what was on episode 69, a little recap of what Rocky had said he could do, and he was like sure about it. Yes, I can do it.
No, it was guaranteed.
It was
man.
guaranteed.
It was all but done.
Well, come to find out, the phone is coming back to me right now. He just sent me a tracking number today, and it is going to be the same exact way as I sent it to him, iCloud locked. Because guess what? It's exactly what Jay and I was trying to tell him, that you cannot unlock a iCloud locked phone, because that would be a big major security hole in the whole iCloud locking mechanism that Apple has put out there. Because if Rocky could do it, not saying that he couldn't, okay, I'm not going to say that, because there probably are some people out there that probably do it. However, if that was widely known and business was able to do that, dude, there would be no. I mean, the security problems with that is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then why couldn't the FBI do it to that one phone? You know.
Yeah. Apple has notoriously said, they don't build backdoors in, blah 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 blah. They can't recover this stuff, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
So Alex Santos says he has a friend that can.
No, he cannot, Alex. I'm telling you right now.
All right, send your phone back to
No,
Alex.
I'm not
Come on.
sending it anymore.
this phone is going to travel around the world before it gets
I will tell
unlocked.
you right
iCloud
now.
remains
See,
locked,
right there.
so
See,
you can't
he just
activate
says
it.
this.
That's the thing.
iCloud remains locked, though. That will never work.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. And that's what Alex
So
has
it's
said.
useless
That's
as a
the
cell phone.
challenge.
Yeah,
That's the challenge.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's basically a glorified iPod Touch.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And then I was also saying that if Rocky did unlock it, I was telling Jay this. I said, if he did unlock it, I was going to do a restore, and I'm willing to bet you it'd go right back to being locked again.
Yep. So maybe now
Okay, so
we can
what were the
follow up
stakes
on
for this
the.
challenge?
Huh?
What were the
We
stakes
didn't.
for
We
this-
didn't make any. I looked.
Yeah.
I looked.
Oh,
Because
that's
he said,
disappointing.
"What do I get if I prove you all wrong?" And I said, "You can keep one of those Mac Minis that you keep waving around for no reason." So, but we never said, "What if we win?" We failed.
Yeah,
on
we
that.
failed.
We could have been swimming in cash right now.
Yeah.
But no,
So
I mean,
I,
fortunately
I
not.
I doubt that.
I actually had an interesting experience with an iPhone 5, I believe it was, or a 5S, trying to unlock it. And so my father's phone stopped working, and it was an iPhone 5, and just wouldn't charge. And I think what happened is he got one of these cheapo iPhone cables, and it shorted out the lightning connector. So I said, well, I have this iPhone 5 here, but it's activated with somebody else's iCloud. I can't do anything with it. And what had happened was a friend of my friend's father passed away, and they had this phone that they didn't want. They couldn't use it. It was on a different cell phone carrier than theirs. And this was at the time where the iPhone 5 series was either on one carrier or another, or whatever the model was. It was either the 6 or the 5 or the 5S. Anyway, I was able to plug in the phone before I tried to reset it. So I was able to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to determine the guy's email address and stuff. But when it went to reset itself, it said, oh, log into your iCloud. I'm like, crap, I don't know the iCloud password. So I don't know what happened, to be totally honest with you, but I went through the reset procedure, and after you try and reset it unsuccessfully, there's like a form you fill out, and Apple contacts you. So I filled that out, and I got a message said your phone is unlocked or blah, 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 blah. And I went to the phone, and nothing happened. So I'm like, bummer. I let it sit for a day. I came back. I redid the same exact process. It failed again. And I got an email from Apple saying your phone is unlocked, because I had to provide them like name, address, all this stuff to confirm it was me. And it unlocked, and it worked. So the phone was, unlocked by Apple in this case, obviously. But to my surprise, it worked. So someone either mispushed a button or they took pity on me, and the phone was activated again. Now, unfortunately, that phone didn't last too much longer, because I think my dad still was using the bad cables, and stopped being able to charge itself.
Yeah.
So I have some more parts.
Well,
in
he
my
knew
bin.
that you prefer to work on Androids.
Yes. Well, I love spending 4.5 hours trying to recover data from a corrupted Android partition.
We know you do. We saw the joy in your eyes when you
So
were
much
trying to
fun.
do it. Yep.
There's parts of that phone still on my desk because I do not want to touch it again. It's just ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh, and Ben said, was talking about, he has a MacBook Pro stuck in a device enrollment MDM login. When I do a clean install, no matter if I do it from recovery or USB-C, I call Apple, no fit. Yeah, Apple will not fix it unless you have a receipt proving that it's yours. That's the only way they will unlock
If a computer or phone or iPad is enrolled in MDM, you can get rid of it. But if it's part of the device enrollment program, then Apple servers take care of it. A company buys a bunch of MacBook Pros. The serial number is tied at time of purchase to their corporate account, which is tied to an MDM server. They set all that stuff up in advance. So if it gets stolen or an employee takes it home, or it will always reach out to Apple servers and say, oh, this serial number belongs to MacYac. It's instantly enrolled back into the MDM, and you can't get rid of it.
Exactly.
No.
And that's the same way. That's what I was trying to tell Rocky about this one, is that this phone is locked to somebody. I got it, from where I work at. The guy was going to just have it crushed because, Best Buy just throws stuff in a recycle bin and it gets crushed. But it's a very nice looking phone. I mean, for an iPhone 5S, it's a really nice looking. The screen wasn't cracked. There's no dings or dents on it or anything. Really nice looking phone. And the only thing wrong with it was the battery was completely dead. I replaced the battery and boom, it worked. So I didn't have a problem with the phone. It's just that it
worked.
Yeah. It boots. It'll boot up now, because the thing with an iPhone 5 or any iPhone, if it has a completely dead battery, it will not power on. Okay. No matter how much you do, you can have it plugged in. It will not power on. Simple as that. You have to replace the battery. Once you replace the battery, it powers on. No problem.
Yeah, at least with some of those phones, even if it's iCloud locked, you could take the lightning port out of it. You could take the camera out of it. It could be used for parts. But the way they're integrating these things in now, like I mean, you've seen that Strange Parts video of the guy putting the headphone jack on the iPhone 7, then you've seen some of his videos where he desolders a RAM, a memory chip from the iPhone, makes a USB flash drive out of it. So, there are places that could use that stuff, and at least say, hey, it's not being shoved in the trash can. But
yep. All right. Basically, I just want to say before she leaves here is that we got Kate P., who is the Macintosh librarian. We've been trying to get her on the show, so she's actually committed to being on the show. If you guys watch the chat there, she did commit to being on the show.
She has great videos.
Yes.
So Google, do a YouTube search for Macintosh librarian. She just put out one about number munchers. That was pretty fun.
Uh-huh.
So
It was last week, right?
Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before you go, Kate, if you can join our Discord server so I can bribe you for those Final Cut Pro secrets, that would be great.
And Charlie, that would not be the first woman on MacYac. That honor goes to Jay's wife. She was actually on an episode. So
yeah,
we were talking about the graphic arts.
Yep.
Stuff. That was a fun one.
It was.
So yes, that would not be the first woman on MacYac, unfortunately.
No.
Unfortunately.
Well, not unfortunately. That I'm saying.
What are you trying to say?
You know what I mean. I'm not going to go there because I'm getting myself in a bigger hole here.
I'm so close to getting in trouble.
Yes.
Oh.
His wife's probably going to come in there and go like, "What is Greg saying?" Because she does watch the show. So
sometimes,
yeah. All right, guys. So let's see what is next here. Guess what time it is? It's game time.
Do you want to play a game?
Do you want to play a way I can't do it. That's the one from Jigsaw.
That sounded way too nice.
Sinister.
All right. So we did this last week, and we had a lot of fun doing it. I think we spent about 15 minutes or so doing it. It was actually pretty fun. So we're going to try it again this week. What I told you guys to do is try to think of something that it's like have you ever, okay? And then you say something. Now,
Never
have you ever, or never ever. Yeah, that's it. Have you never ever. If you have done it, you eat. If you've never done
That's
it,
all right. Keep going.
if you've never done it, you go quack. Okay?
All right, so Eep if you did it, quack if you
Didn't.
if you did not do
Yeah,
it.
if you didn't do
Yep.
it. All right, so the first one is mine, okay? Installed OpenCore on your main drive and screwed it up. And I'm going to go
Quack.
Eep because I have done
Quack.
it. A lot of people
I
have it.
might change my sound effect tonight because I intend to try OpenCore tonight. For those that don't know, Greg put out a video today illustrating how to install OpenCore and Radeon Boost, and I'm going to try it tonight. But for now, it's a quack because I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. To be honest with you, that was a pretty easy video to do, and I was trying to tell Jay how easy it was, and when he watched the video, he was like, oh, this looks pretty straightforward. I'll try it now.
Yeah, because the people that literally wrote the guide on that Mac Rumors thread said you need a flashed EFI card. So I'm
Yes,
like, I
you
don't
do
have
need
one right now.
you do have a flashed EFI card. There's a difference between a flashed EFI card and an Apple flashed EFI card.
Yes, but I don't know anything about graphics. So I thought I had to go to the basement,
No.
dig up my card. No, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, Ben tried and messed
Yeah,
it
we
up.
got one Eep in
There we go. So I'm not the only Eep in here, so that's good. All right, so Jay, you're the next one. So
Yeah, I put one in too, and I just put this one in to make myself feel better. So hopefully there will be a bunch of other Eeps. If not, I'm a real idiot. Have your operating system on an unsupported Mac and not realize why it keeps failing until way too much time was invested. Eep.
I think I better eat that one.
I can actually say quack on that because I normally just put the supported operating system unless I'm doing a DOS Dude 1 install.
And trying to install the Intel version of Tiger on a PowerPC counts. So,
I
That's
I
one of
have
those
to
Eeps.
say, I have to say quack on that one also because the only time I've ever tried to do that was when I took my 1,1 Mac Pro to El Cap and I used Grudy's video to show me how to do it and everything worked fine. So
I got a bunch of Eeps.
haven't
I
tried
feel
it
better
since.
now.
I mean, I think I figured it out fairly quickly, but I've definitely done it.
Yeah, I've definitely done it with like the wrong version of System 7. Like, why won't this boot? And I'm like, oh, I'm trying 7.0 and I need 7.1 or 7.01 and I'm doing 7.1. You know, usually it's the old stuff. Usually I get mixed up on there sometimes, and I'm like, wait, go online, see. All right, what's the minimum version for this? Ah, okay, that's my problem there.
Yeah.
Because with the old Mac stuff, you'll get some very
The stream is stuttering.
Yeah,
the way.
somehow it says, I just
Yeah,
got an
it's
error on it. It says
stuttering
YouTube is
bad.
not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. That's weird. I'm getting a lot of drop frames all of a sudden. What is going on?
Now all of a
Mr.
sudden
Mr.
it's,
Perfect triple gigabyte upload. What's going on?
Let's let it
there, man?
stabilize
Gig up,
here.
gig
I mean,
down.
looks like it's
now.
it's streaming at about 8K, so or 8,000 kilobits per second.
Probably pick up where
it looks all right now. I'm watching
It might have been a
it
YouTube
looks-
stutter or something because
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna blame
Okay,
YouTube. You know that.
Well, what I was saying is with the old systems, you could get pretty far along in an install, especially if you trick it before it will actually fail and just like you'll reboot and just is not happy because you can easily install an OS that's not supported on a extra disk
All
or
right,
something.
I'm
and then-
actually I'm in the red again now for some reason. I don't know why. It's showing.
Blame YouTube again. It worked the first time.
Well, to be honest with you, I've been seeing a lot of problems with YouTube, even watching other people's videos too. Not just here, but other places too. You know, so YouTube's been having some issues lately. I mean, even watching Steve's stream the other day, it was buffering a lot. So
Oh yeah, it's chunking along right now.
yeah, I see
Yeah,
it
I
right
can
now.
see it.
Chugga.
It's dropping a whole lot. Now we're back into green, so it should be.
So now we should be.
Yeah, we should be groovy. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna blame YouTube there, Jay. I'm not blaming myself because we're Skyping no problem. In fact, I haven't seen
Yeah,
any problem with the
Skype
Skype.
is working.
Okay, so
Damn it, that's actually a valid point.
I mean, I've got
It looks okay now.
4 of you guys on here plus me on Skype, so it's 5 of us streaming back and forth, and one clear across the world. So, you know,
We have
Yeah.
built up a significant time delay, though,
that's
between us
Yeah,
and
so
the stream right now.
If you guys refresh the window, it probably will resolve itself because I did that and it looks fine.
yeah.
now, so.
If you go live or click the live button, I know I have to actually move it all the way.
Okay, yeah, we're back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, YouTube has been screwy lately. Watching some of Steve's videos was the same thing. You know, when he was doing his live the other day, it was buffering. I didn't say anything to Steve, but I thought it was YouTube. You know, I didn't think it was Steve. So
Yeah, I checked when that happened. I had 38 dropped frames from the whole 3.5 hours, so I don't think that's bad.
yeah, no, it's not bad.
But
Horrible.
I have a pretty what's the word I'm
Stout.
trying to use? Pretty stable upload and download. It usually doesn't fluctuate too much. It does once in a while, so I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if sometimes that.
All right,
causes
so let's
it.
continue on with our game here. So who wrote the next one
Yes.
here?
That's me. I
Okay,
think.
so you go for it.
I have to find where I am. This. Yeah. So, have you accidentally erased the wrong hard drive or volume while working in terminal or disk utility, only to figure out afterwards what you did after you typed
Eep.
admin password or whatever?
Quack.
Quack, but also sort of eep because I wasn't in
You
either of
can't
those
sort of
applications.
eep.
But
What
I had
is
just
that?
started.
Yeah, it's either you did or you didn't.
Let's say, well, all right, so specifically on this point, Quack, but when I started a new job several years ago, they had all of the jobs that we had worked on digitally on the server. And of course, the Mac stations have a shortcut to that file server. And I had the window for that file server open, and it was in front, and I happened to I thought that I had clicked on a folder that I was going to delete to throw it in the trash. Except I had a bunch of files in the server window open, and I hit Command Delete to empty the trash, or to send to the trash, and it started wiping the backup server.
Oh,
So that was pretty close. They caught it about 10 seconds in and restored it from a backup. But yeah, that was a great way.
A good
Way
way
to
to
start a
test
new
your
job.
backups.
There
You
you
were
go.
testing
Yeah.
them, Dan.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that-
do
that
have
would-
to add that even though I eeped, I've never lost any data because of it, because I always had a backup.
oh yeah.
I will say EAP. Don't think I've ever lost data because of that. I've lost data from hardware failure, but thankfully I can't remember the last time I accidentally formatted a drive and went, "Oh no, that's the," because like it was probably, we're talking about floppy disks. That's probably how long ago it was.
Yeah.
So, I'm usually pretty careful.
Wombat said, I once erased my main hard drive that contained all my software installers and license keys. I've recovered some of the stuff, but not all. That sounds painful.
That's
Ouch,
the reason why you should go
Yeah.
watch our episode about backups, because Jay will school you on backup.
I would never assume to school anyone,
Liar.
unless it's in UT.
These next ones are me as well.
Go for it. If it's yours, you read it out.
All right. So, have you ever opened a machine to fix one issue, and then you end up with another new issue afterwards?
I think I added that one actually, and that was I can definitely eat that one.
Eep.
Go to fix problem A and create problem B.
And C and D and E and F.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quack.
big old
What?
from
What?
me.
Oh, who quacked?
Quack. Quack.
Oh, bull.
I'm thinking long and hard. I mean, I will take a dead machine, fix the board, or put another part in to discover at that point something else is broken, but I do not recall ever
Well,
trying to fix something
I recall.
and destroying. Overclocking doesn't count. That's not trying to fix something.
I recall. What about that Mac Pro that you did something to, and you were like cleaning out the tray like it was nobody's business for a solid 3 days. Then you figured out what the issue was. What was the story behind that one?
Wait, what?
It was probably last year sometime. You had a tray, was a 2009 or upwards Mac Pro, and something was not being recognized, either the core of the processor or the memory or something, and you were going nuts. And then it turned out that when you reseated the heatsink or whatever, you didn't put the spacer on or you didn't tighten it correctly. This is like last year sometime.
Oh, I think that was the Xserve.
I thought it was
Ah.
G5, the Mac Pro, because I remember like, hey, this is the only Mac Pro board I have. Blah blah. You know.
Yeah, no, it rings a bell, but that was not my tray, and I did not lose the ring, the spacer ring. So I will maintain my quack for now until I remember something else. Yeah.
Your wife's probably going to come in and go, no. All right, who's got the next one here?
Next one is me also. Have you ever guessed a password on a login system or a machine that was not yours?
Eep.
Yeah, I've done it before. Yeah.
I mean, apart from obviously no password at all and just trying that out, I've never guessed a password.
Oh, yes.
That's still... Yeah, so sometimes I love when I get a used machine and I expect it not to boot up and it boots up, and then the password hint like gives you like an idea, and it's like, oh wait, who was the all-star team of 1996 in baseball or whatever? You know, who won the World Series? And it's like, oh wait, I know this. Type it in, yay!
Yeah, that's too easy, especially when they put something like that. It's like, dude, you're supposed to put a question that only you would know, not what. You could go look in Google and find out, you know.
We'll type the password, but you know, if you usually try and type your password into the hint field because you're dumb or whatever, it will yell at you and say like, hey, you know, you're not supposed to do that. But what people will do is they'll type the password, but they'll put like a space between it or an underscore between each one, or the like something backwards, and I'm like, oh, really? And yep, that's password.
Yeah, it's happened to me, I think, twice, and both times I just guessed the password as admin. So you want to talk about stupid? I mean, that's
or the password is password.
Putting admin in the wrong field or something. Yeah, the password is admin, and so that's at least twice that's happened.
Or what about the password being password?
Well, I've run into people who've set the password as password, but have insisted it was spelled correctly when it was clearly not.
How do you mess up
Ricardo
password?
says, I once entered a machine where the username was password, so I guess the password was username. That's kind of funny.
Oh, man.
That's the same exact combination I have in my luggage.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we've got one more here to go. Who's got the last one?
The last one, Jay, cover your ears. Have you ever used Windows or Linux, even in a virtual machine, just to use an accessory or hardware device or for some single-purpose software or use, like flashing a card or something?
Eep.
Jay.
Come on.
Be proud.
Jay used a Windows machine.
One of my security cameras refuses to load in any browser on a Mac. It needs the X, whatever, special X. Yeah, so that's the one.
Ooh, Jay.
And I will strike this from the official record.
It's on video now.
This archive of MacEck will be spent. Nope. Just lost to time.
Jay's like, I'm deleting it now.
Yeah, the question was, have you ever used Windows or Linux, even on a VM, to control or adapt or update or interface with an accessory or a piece of software?
Yes.
I've used it plenty of times with printers and weird crap that just like are so old that they have no.
Dude, I use it daily when I do my iRacing because I can't use Mac software for it. I have to use Windows.
But yeah, that's more like.
But that's using it because of the software.
But you said single-purpose piece of software, so.
Yeah, I meant like a utility or something. I mean, like you're gaming. That's different.
No, but I've had to do it because I had to flash a Mac card, and you can only flash it under Windows. I mean, I've done that too. So.
I should have just said, have you ever begrudgingly used Windows? That's.
Well, I begrudgingly use it every time I want to race. So.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
All right. I was going to ask for the audience one. I think we took this one a little longer than I wanted to because we still got a lot to get a cover on here.
What's up
we
with
do.
this?
Huh? So, but anyways, guys, if you like this, we're going to go ahead and keep this for next week as well. Get on Discord and in the show topics, put in there some of your, have you evers, and we might feature them on here. because we're going to run out of them pretty soon if we keep going with this.
We'll
I've got
keep
one for
doing
next
stupid
week.
stuff throughout the week.
Oh, yeah. We think of a lot of stupid stuff out through the week, guys. So, yeah.
Like, have you ever experienced buffering and blamed YouTube while it was your
Yes, I have, and it's not my fault.
There's no proof it was ever my fault. So quack.
Exactly.
Quack.
Because remember, I
don't
just
stream,
said
so quack.
I just said that Skype was still working perfectly. So
Yeah. And Jay conceded that was a valid point. so-
exactly,
You got no proof of that.
it's on video. All right, so let's go ahead and get into our next topic here. Now, I saw this video on this a couple days ago. In fact, David, one of our viewers, has done this. He watches us after the fact. I don't think he ever live chats on us here. But he did a video where he put Snow Leopard on a Power PC. Now, it is a beta version of Snow Leopard. Okay, I think it was one that Apple was actually contemplating putting on the G5, but they just didn't do it because they wanted to go straight Intel and decided to drop support of the G5 after only 2 operating system updates. You know, what was it, Tiger and then Leopard. So
Yeah.
probably the shortest time that a operating system on a Mac right there, if I remember right. So anyways,
My G5 came with 10.2, so
yeah. So question is, do we even want to do it or just leave well enough alone? Now, I want to try it just to see how it works on it. I'm going to put it on a separate partition on my G5, but I just want to try it. Something to do. I'm not ever probably going to use it because a lot of the stuff is probably broke on it because it's a beta, you know, and you're going to have lots of crashes and stuff like that. So,
I was really excited when I first heard about it a couple of weeks ago that it was possible. Like, wow, this is amazing for G5
until you found out it's
owners.
not a beta, actually, it's an alpha.
Yeah, I think it's the very, very early stages, 10.6.0, and that's as far as it'll ever go. I mean,
You're never gonna
it's
get
not like
updates.
OS 9 where the community can build on it. This is locked down, encrypted. You can't get in there. The source code is not available.
Yeah.
So I was
This is
excited, but, you know.
It's probably like one step beyond the upgraded version of Leopard. They just tweaked a few things. They're like, all right, we're just getting started with this.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, I mean, what is the benefit? Does it open up a whole bunch of different software you can run on your computer that you couldn't run before?
Zero, because everything that runs on Snow Leopard
No,
will
in
run
fact,
on
it's
Leopard.
probably, it's probably less because most applications were updated for Snow Leopard on Intel, and you're not going to get. First of all, you don't get Quartz Extreme, you don't get all of the optimizations that they made specifically for Intel machines. You're basically getting Leopard with a Snow Leopard face on it. I think is from what I can gather. So, I mean, yeah, there's a coolness factor. You can say, "Hey, look, there's Snow Leopard on my G5," but it's not really. It's basically Leopard on its way.
To become,
Snow
yeah,
Leopard.
Yeah, and if you wanted to if you want your Leopard machine to just look like Snow Leopard, I mean,
There's-
there's a bunch of customization stuff that's been out for years. You can make it look like High Sierra. You can make it look like Mojave.
Dude, there's a
and all this
customization to
stuff.
make your Tiger look, or not Tiger, but Leopard or Tiger look like, you know, High Sierra. There, I've done that before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's plenty of these good ones out
Yeah.
there. I mean, I see no benefit to it. Look, I'm all for messing around and tinkering with stuff, but it's really funny because you get people on Twitter or somewhere that really don't know that this is an alpha or whatever. They go, "Oh my gosh, I could run these apps
Well,
that are
that's
only
the way-
designed for
that's the way
Snow
it's-
Leopard." It's like, oh wait,
That's the way it sounded to me when I first heard about it, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm like, oh wait, this
Yeah.
is a
Too good to be
beta.
true.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I guess I would be really interested. I mean, if anyone in the chat does it and gives it a try, or if anyone here tries it, is there any benefit? Did anyone find a single benefit for doing it other than saying, "I have it sort of"?
Well-
I'd be really interested to know. I mean, we obviously don't think there will be, but maybe someone will find.
I
something.
doubt there's
I
any
can't
benefit.
even try because I fully imagine this needs a pretty specced out G5 to even work halfway decent, and I don't have any G5s. So
You got those G5
Yeah, I mean,
servers, don't you? Or those X servers,
You've
right?
got heaps of G5s. Haven't you got G5s?
Yeah, I thought you.
yeah, but they don't take any meaningful graphics card like the tower would.
But still, you do
There's
have.
I was playing around with a very first gen, or maybe it was second gen Mac Mini. It was just a Core Duo, and it had Leopard on it. And so I actually installed a new partition of Snow Leopard, and Snow Leopard was much snappier just on the same old hard drive with 2 gigs of memory and much quicker. So I would definitely see the benefit if it was ever actually, usable. But unfortunately, I just don't see it's there.
Yeah.
But it's fun to tinker with.
Even for Intel machines at the time, I mean, now looking back, 10.6 is one of the best OS 10 versions out there.
Yeah.
But it didn't become halfway decent until 10.6.4. And after that, it started maturing a bit. They started working out the kinks and all that. But to run an alpha version of 10.6.0, I cannot imagine what garbage that must be.
Yeah. It's an alpha for a reason.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, it doesn't even have full support for all the GPUs that were available up to that point.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Apple's
because
not going to write drivers.
yeah, because I mean, like you just said, it's an alpha, and so they're just going to put out. You're going to get the basic stuff with it, and I mean, I beta test for Apple all the time, but to be honest with you, there's a lot of broke things on a very first version of a beta that comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a ton
Of
of
course,
broke
yeah.
things.
Especially for a brand new OS.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You ever play around with Windows Longhorn? Jeez.
Yeah. So
Now, this might be a fun idea for you, Dana, since Dana does stuff now. You should make a video trying to install Snow Leopard on a G5, but do your Arnold impersonation while doing it. I think that would be a hit. I know
Yeah,
I'd
but
watch it.
The only problem is I don't care.
The
You know,
level of caring is down to here.
Anybody can take a screenshot and go, "Look, I've got Snow Leopard on my computer." But why? I don't.
This cat looks different than another cat.
It's like, if you could have photoshopped that. I don't know. I don't care.
I guess
not
we'll
gonna
wait
be any
on
different.
Greg's report since he's the only one who's going to try
if
it.
I try it, I said if I don't even know if I'm going to do it or not. But
I thought you were referring to Grudy because he could knock himself out on that.
No.
He'd have to go on for 45
well,
minutes.
Grudy's got
I'm
about
sure.
20 different G5s he could try it on too. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Besides, Jay, I don't have a working G5 yet.
Yeah. I have some CRT issues. We'll talk after the show.
all right, guys. So next topic here is thoughts on USB 4.0. Now, Brock came up with this suggestion, I guess. I didn't put this topic in here, but how important
Brock is always causing trouble, man.
How important is USB 4.0? And I'm looking at the things here: 40 gigabits per second, maximum theoretical speed. That
And what is the theoretical speed for Thunderbolt 3?
I don't think it's that fast.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
what
I
about
thought it was
wireless?
42, wasn't
Huh?
it? Thunderbolt
Thunderbolt
3 is 40.
That's 40 gigabits per second.
Is it?
So this is 5 more than that.
Okay.
Oh, no. It's the same.
5 gigabytes per second.
Yeah. So
But my question is, do any of us care? I mean, we're not going to have it on our Mac Pros anyway.
no.
I am all for making faster connections available to the masses. I mean, sure, USB 4, you want to slap it on an iPhone or whatever, I don't care. It's as long as it's backwards compatible with at least 3 and 2, that's fine.
Well,
with
here's
me.
the thing too: is that you could possibly put USB 4.0 in our machines if they have the proper PCIe
PCI
card.
cards.
Yeah.
How fast is that PCIe card going to have to be to deliver 40 gigabits per second or whatever?
I mean, how fast is your PCIe
A
slot?
16-speed PCI 2 slot can easily match it.
Make sure you have one of those open.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm all for it. What's interesting is it says backwards compatible up to USB 2. You'd be surprised how many USB 1 devices are out there. A lot of mice and keyboards are just simply USB 1. They don't
My
need-
pucks are USB 1.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's a strict backwards compatibility.
Get you a hub then.
Yeah.
Maybe they left 2 point.
Trina is asking, when is USB 4.0 due out? I don't know. I think this was just the acceptance of the specification.
Yeah, because they do it. They do a specification, and everybody has to in the group
Takes years.
has to approve it. But it's going to be over the USB-C Type C connector, so that's a good thing.
Well, that's good. New connector.
So, I mean, it says let's discuss, but I don't know enough about it to discuss it.
It says, don't expect, I'm just reading something here. Don't expect to see devices with USB 4 until at least late 2020, but more likely 2021 and beyond. So,
Yeah, I
And-
think it's gonna be like USB 3. It's gonna trickle out slowly.
And with the pandemic right now, probably later.
I don't think that. I mean, like USB 3 and 3.1 and stuff is pretty quick for most things these days. And if you need something that's faster, sure, this will be faster than that. But I think for generally speaking, like general users, they're not clamoring for anything faster than USB 3 because most of the devices they're probably using are USB 2.
Yeah.
But people are gonna make a lot of money. Remember when the first version of Thunderbolt came out? People were running to the stores and, oh, look, I got this external hard drive. It's Thunderbolt. It's fast. You open it up. It's a 5,400 RPM Seagate drive in there.
Yeah.
And people are buying it. It's so fast. It's so fast. And meanwhile, your hard drive or whatever storage you use can't even come close to matching those speeds anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of bragging rights. The first people that will jump on this, I got USB 4s.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
What do you got?
It'll
What
be
do you
like
got? What
USB
accessories do you have that will use USB 4?
Exactly.
Yeah, a keyboard. I can type faster now. No.
It'll be exactly like USB 3. The first revisions, at least in my case, were buggy and didn't have good driver support, at least on the Mac. But Apple's always far behind with the USB stuff. So hopefully, hopefully when this eventually comes to the Mac side, it's bug free.
It's funny because
keyboard
according to your
flies now.
video, they were one of the first to put it in there, and then Apple took away the floppy drive, started with USB and all that.
USB 1. That's
Right, but now you're saying that they're slow adopting new USB practices, so that's funny.
They dragged their feet to put USB 2 in the PowerBooks. I just remember the PowerBook 12-inch came out and it was still USB 1, the first model. And I'm like, are you serious? Come on, make this faster.
Yeah.
They dragged their feet.
And the thing is, USB 4 or 5 or 26 and Thunderbolt are still have to pass through the CPU to get their work done, and that's why I'm just going to stick with FireWire as long as I can.
Firewall forever.
Well, here Wombat says he's found Type C connectors to be extremely fragile. However, I've found the USB A ones are extremely fragile just as much. I mean, it doesn't matter. Connector's a connector. It's going to be fragile. I mean,
This will last longer than a USB-C.
what is that? I can't even see it.
that's the
Regular
original
USB.
USB.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the connector it connects into, usually will get busted out before that will. The cable, yes, will last longer, but a USB-A connector, because the little board inside of it is actually by itself.
There's also different manufacturers
Yeah.
of that stuff. Some stuff is gonna be super cheap, and stuff is gonna be more rugged.
Yeah, I'm just saying though that the ones that's on the computer side, the female connector side is the one that actually has issues.
Yeah, usually.
Yep.
So, all right. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here.
We got a next topic?
Yes, we do. Topic 5.
Oh,
It's another user suggestion. Europa, I don't know who that is, suggested IDE to SSD. What are the options and how is it performance? I'm going to throw this over to Steve and Bruce because they're the experts on this.
Bruce, you go first. I'm typing something. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Well, if you guys are still gathering your thoughts, I can throw my 2 cents in there.
Well,
up to you.
one thing I can tell you is I've found some compatibility issues with some of that IDE to SSD on some of the really old Macs. So, for instance, I couldn't get it to work in it is one of I can't remember, it was like the Wall Street or something like that. One of the G3 laptops. I couldn't get that to work at all. But it does work in my Titanium, and it does work in like the iBooks and stuff like that. So So yeah, look, I mean, they're good. The argument has always been with these the fact that SSDs were never designed to be hard drives. They're designed to be sort of portable storage. And one of the issues has always been the way when you're using a hard drive, the way the data gets read, sort of read and written at such a rate that SSDs, in particular older SSDs or cheap SSDs, don't cope with that very well, and they have a much higher failure rate if you are going to use an SSD as an internal hard drive. Now, I have heard some people say that as the technology is improving, SSDs are getting better at that. They can last longer. They will, but I would, if I was going to be using a computer on a regular basis, I would not want to be using an SSD as my main hard drive. So, but look, you can't argue with the price. If you're like me and you've got a cupboard full of computers and the old spinner hard drive has failed on them, and it's something that you're going to be firing up, I don't know, once every few months or something like that, have a bit of a play, do some games, and then stick it back in the cupboard again. Being able to go out and buy the little adapter for, a few dollars, and then just an SSD from the, sort of the supermarket or the stationers or something, and then whack that in there. That's fantastic. I love it. It's great to be able to do that.
You mean the SD cards?
Well, SD or SD or SSD. Sorry, yeah. I mean, I'm talking both of them actually at the moment.
No, yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I'm just drifting in and out without giving anyone any indication of which one I'm talking about. Welcome to
Mac-Yak, folks.
Yeah, so SSD. If we're talking SSD, so my apologies. If we're talking about SSD, then yeah, that's a different story. They are obviously designed to be used as hard drives, and that's fine. I've drifted into using SD cards there for a while.
Well, so that is a form of SSD, isn't it? It counts.
Okay, here's
Well, it's a solid state medium. It's not.
Yeah. But they do have mechanisms built into them. I can't remember that there's a word, and I can't remember the name of it, but they have mechanisms built into them that are designed to make those chips last longer, whereas SD...
like trim and stuff?
Trim?
Yeah.
Now, Bruce, Alex has a question here. He says, what about the gigabyte limit for partitions? There are issues there to be concerned of, correct?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, yes, if you've got a partition limit, then you have to stick within that partition limit. But you just make lots of partitions.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've only put an SSD in one laptop. I have a little converter that goes from IDE to mSATA. Little enclosure with a mSATA card in it. I've never used an SD or CF card because I hear, issues. And that's the only time I've converted IDE to SSD. For every other Mac, and I'm into tower Macs, not laptops, I bypass it completely and go straight to a SATA card to an SSD. But I know for laptops that doesn't apply. I don't even know if you can put a SATA card in a beige G3 or something older than that. I don't know if that exists, but
there are definitely IDE to SATA adapters. Now, you're not going to gain any speed from those, but you'll at least allow it to interface with a newer drive. In fact, I have one over there, but I'm too lazy to get up a second time. I do have one of these little adapters. It's a StarTech IDE to compact flash. So this is before the SD card ones were popular. This goes to compact flash because the interface is actually functionally very similar, if not the same,
it's
to
just
IDE. So
straight through,
yeah. So this is actually is an interesting one. You have two compact flash adapters there, so you could plug in two different ones there, which is nice.
Cool.
I actually use one of these on an old PC. I was recording a video for a Macintosh compatibility card shootout and needed a hard drive for the old PC and used a compact flash card on one of these. I don't think I would personally use an SD card for like a computer that I'm going to be using a lot. Like if I was going to do some tests, I would use an older hard drive like a SCSI drive or an IDE drive. But like Bruce was saying, if you're going to pull out a machine, play around with it for a bit and put it back away and just you're not really stress testing it, I don't think an SD card is going to hurt it. Just make sure your stuff is backed up and just understand that you're pushing that SD card in a way it's not meant to be read and written. It's sort of going a bit overboard of taking a photo with a camera and saving it to a storage medium and stuff like that. You're writing and reading a lot more to that card than what is expected of it. So just have that understanding with it. But there's a lot of different options out there, and especially for the classic Macs, like the SCSI 2SD stuff is perfect because those don't, those aren't going to be too harmful to it, I don't think.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, my entire intro that I said before where I was saying SSD, I meant SD during all that time. So thank you for clarifying all that, Steve. But the one takeaway from that I would say is that there are some older types of IDE Mac that have very, very strict standards for the IDE. And some of those newer adapters don't meet those older strict standards. And you plug them in and you just the drive might come up, you might even be able to format, but you'll try installing an operating system and it'll just keep failing. And so just be aware that if you are planning to put those into a really old Mac, that they don't necessarily work in all of them. And as I say, I've used both the sort of IDE to SSD and IDE to SD. And have sort of encountered the same sort of problem with those really old Macs. So just be aware of that.
Yeah.
No. All right. So is that all on that, or do we have any other issues on it?
I think that about sums it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
But I
think
was
you
just
have to
thinking. Go ahead.
No.
I'm just saying you have to be realistic of your speed and your applications for it. That's all.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're talking about a technology that's phasing out. We're talking about hard drives. It's getting harder to find, sort of old IDE or SCSI hard drives. We are being kind of forced into a solid state solution, a sort of a different solution for the future. So, I mean, there's kind of, you kind of have to go in and try these things because you end up, all of those old hard drives will be dead eventually.
Yep.
True.
All right. So, next topic up tonight. Now we're out of topics, so now we're getting into our normal every show topic. What were they smoking? This, and for all the new guys here, this basically is the topic where we find somebody on the buy, sell, trade sites. That's including eBay, all these trading sites that have out there, Facebook, Craigslist, whatever. Okay, where they are just ridiculously pricing Macs. Okay, so the first one I'm going to paste into the link tonight, or the only one actually, this is actually submitted by Duke09 from Discord. Okay, and you're going to see why we picked this one tonight. This guy, okay, now this is on Newegg, okay, but it's actually a seller because I did some research on it. The guy's actually a seller. It's almost like on Amazon where you have the sellers on there. But everything he sells on here is, Goldman priced, So, but this guy wants a 3.1 refurbished for $1,079.
Now, you have to keep in mind that's Canadian dollars, so that's only $773 US.
That's still.
Did you post the link?
Still about 600 too much.
Exactly.
Just saying. You are on the
Did I
New
post the
Canada
link?
site. That's all I'm saying.
I don't see
I
it.
just did.
I thought. Oh no, I didn't hit enter. Haha. There we go.
User error.
Yep. That was my fault there. I didn't hit the link.
Yeah, you sure it wasn't YouTube?
No, that was not YouTube. That was me. I'll take blame when it's me.
Solid jabs.
Yeah.
Solid.
Anyways,
That's a good one there.
yeah, the reason why we picked this because one thing, it's on Newegg, of all places. But still, like you said, Steve, $700 US dollars is still ridiculous for that.
And
Yeah,
it comes
for
with it
stock
comes with Leopard.
2008.
Yeah, it comes with Leopard.
And the picture is a 4.1 because it has two FireWire 800 ports on the front.
Oh yeah, this guy's not gonna take his own pictures. This is some guy who's a little bit crazy and is just a seller on Newegg and trying to get some of his old stock cleared out.
Yeah, he's just using an old Apple stock photo, and as long as it looks like a cheese
I'll
grater
bet you
there.
$1 that terabyte HDD hard drive is probably 5,400 RPM.
It probably is, and if you notice, it has an ATI Radeon HD 2600 XT.
2600.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a 2008.
But still,
Yeah.
it's a 3
That's-
1. I mean, you're not going to get
Yeah.
a whole lot. You're not going to be able to upgrade that one too much.
No. I mean,
No,
there's
not
people
really.
that have done some impressive stuff with their old 2-1, 3-1 machines, but it's not gonna hold up next to a 4-1 or 5-1. Just spend the money.
Even if this was a 2012, that's way too expensive.
Well, there was
Yeah.
a guy locally here selling a 4-1 single processor one for, I think it was like $350, which isn't too bad. It's a little overpriced, I think, for a single
Yeah, it's
processor.
about 150 over
Yeah,
price.
for a single processor one, but still, it's way better deal than this thing. You know.
Yeah. So what was he smoking?
Oh, I think he was smoking the eggs from Neweggs there.
Some of those
Eggshells.
eggs,
Huh?
man.
Eggs.
Yeah. So that's my think. That's my I'm gonna stick
Some
with it.
Canadian rotten eggs.
Yeah. Smoking some rotten eggs.
And just always going back to what we talked about before in terms of everyone protecting themselves when they're buying something. Never buy something where someone just uses a stock photo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one thing you stay away from. If it's a stock photo, run.
Absolutely.
Even if it's their grandma's and they don't have access to it or whatever the story is, even flip phones have cameras. I'd rather take a blurry, grainy photo, and then obviously you're going to see it in person. But yeah,
Well, dude,
stock
he's
photo.
this guy.
Unless you're buying it from Apple's website, they're the only ones that are allowed to use a stock
And
photo.
here's the thing is that this guy's a major seller on there. I looked at he has a whole lot of other things on there for sale. So not having a camera is not an excuse.
That's just laziness.
That's
and I don't want
laziness,
this
yep.
in my inventory anymore.
Exactly. But if you're going to sit there and sell something used, you need to take real pictures of it from all angles because, that's ridiculous. So just be careful when you buy stuff like that. Make sure you're not looking at a stock photo. They're easy to spot because they got as Ken said on his wheeled video today that I saw, he's got the Johnny Ive white screen behind him.
Yeah.
So you can't see any, lines or anything like that. All right, so that's it for the what were they smoking this week. You guys keep submitting those submissions in the What Were They Smoking Discord channel because that actually we've actually done that 2 weeks in a row now where we took a user suggestion and placed it on here. And like I said, we will say your name on here. So Duke09 was the provider of this week's What Were They Smoking. So get your guys' submissions in there. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to our next thing, which Steve just came up with. So, Steve, take it away.
Yep. So I had just a little archive thing I want to mention. To really ask is I have this little pointing device that Christian from the Macintosh Garden turned me on to. This is this very interesting little mouse type thing. It's an ADB device, and if you saw my live stream, you saw me playing around with it. And it's supposed to be held like this, of course. Then you have this little part that moves around. It's pretty neat. It has 3 buttons on it. But the problem is this requires software, and of course mine did not come with the disc. So I am looking out there for let me just paste in the name of this here. This is an Ultra Micro Point. The earlier version that Christian has is called a Felix. So we're looking for any software. It's usually probably a control panel. In fact, the back of this mentions specifically a control panel called Micro Point. So we're looking for a Micro Point control panel. The website that I was able to find said that this was compatible with System 6.07. So if you have any old Macs laying around, you have some system folders in them still that maybe was from the previous owner. Take a look, see if you have any of this software laying around, because I've been on archive.org. Obviously, Macintosh Garden does not have it because that's where Christian has his stuff.
I have questions. Steve,
Yes, sir.
I have questions. So, just 2 questions. Number 1, how is that thing held on there? Is it on a magnet or something like that?
It is not on a magnet, but there's a piece that's there's this. It's hard to see, but it's almost like looks like a trackpad, and this is sort of like
moves with it.
part of
sort
that. It moves with
Yeah.
it.
Okay, all right.
And so,
that's good.
if you wiggle it around, like it sort of just drifts around. Now the problem is without the software, these 2 extra buttons don't do anything. And also without the software, if you sort of go far to the left, and it's not really mapped to your screen correctly, so it's having some sort of weird interface type issues. But it's pretty nice to use. It's not bad. Like if I had no space on the desk for a mouse, I wouldn't mind using that.
But you
So
can't pick it up and move it if you're like get to a point
Right.
where you can't.
No, you have to sort of, and maybe that's one of these buttons do. I have no clue.
I mean-
But
At a glance, it looks like one of the stupidest things ever built. But it's meant to be more accurate than a mouse or something like that. or-
I went on. I'll have to send you the link to the archive.org of the selling points for it. It's supposed to reduce stress on your wrist and all this stuff. And
Hey,
that's the whole idea.
Steve. Wombat
Yeah.
says he knows Lazy Game Reviews has a Felix.
Yes, and he responded to me and said the same on Twitter. That's the Windows one, so that's not going to really help us out. But so I'm specifically looking for the Macintosh version of the software. I've seen the Windows version of the software in other places. It just is a little interesting little device here. I've
What's
looked
the build
online.
date on that?
There's no build date, but there's a serial number, MPM 4045. So make that of it what you will. But yeah, so I believe this device is called the Micro Point, the Ultra Micro Point. The one Christian has is the Ultra Felix. So that's my little question.
I wonder if maybe something like that is on the old Mac Addict CDs from back in the day.
It might be, but if this thing was compatible with System 6, I would have.
That's
I
why I
don't
was
even know
asking.
when this came
Yeah.
out, but I'm gonna guess this was probably early to mid 90s.
Early 90s.
So, I mean, it is an ADB version, so that's the thing here. It's not USB, it's ADB. So even if Aaron, like he said, LGR did a video on it, he probably did a video on the parallel port version. Now, before you go hopping on eBay trying to look for one, because I just got this from eBay, there's another one on eBay that's a Windows one that says ADB in the title. It ain't ADB. You can see there's a serial port right on that picture, so just be aware. It looks nice. I wish it was Mac compatible, but.
You could try hitting up LGR, see if he knows, like,
Yeah,
if-
I'll send him an email. I've conversed with him briefly before. We'll see if he responds. But yeah, I know he's more of a Windows DOS guy, but who knows? Maybe he has a disk laying around for it somewhere. But check your
Yeah.
collection, guys. If you
He's
ever
got
have
a
any old
healthy
stuff.
collection of Apple software too, from what I understand.
Who's that?
So.
Yep.
LGR.
Yeah,
Lazy
Clint
Gamer
from the
Yeah,
LGR
yeah.
channel.
Clint.
All right, guys.
I don't know, man. If
That's
Macintosh
my
Garden
plea.
doesn't have it, nobody has
Yeah.
it. So.
Yeah, I was laughing because somebody on Twitter suggested the Macintosh repository. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's just a
Did you
poor
check?
facility.
Yeah.
I actually did not. I highly doubt they have it though. I will check.
Oh, he's gonna go
They have
check.
it.
Ooh, Christian,
But
don't
I
watch this
would've-
video.
I would have assumed that Christian would have. Yeah.
If Christian probably
So,
would have
like,
scoured.
Macintosh autocorrects to Garden.
Does it?
As it should be.
As it should be. Yes. I haven't even typed that site on this
Yeah.
page. Now my whole machine's gonna be taken over.
Yep.
Yep. Before you continue, click the bottom. Yeah, this is not the site I was looking for.
Ooh, you're going on some repository
Oh,
site, huh?
Oopsie. Yeah, that's not the one I was looking for. I
It's
probably
a good thing we can't see your screen, huh?
I don't know how this got on here. Yeah, no such product came up when I did a search.
Oh, suppository.
find
Yep, one of us will find it. It's
So what's the finder's fee?
send you some buttons. How about that?
Yeah.
I already got buttons. What else?
Not you. You ain't gonna find it.
Oh,
He'll find a puck mouse,
I
though.
might.
If you find it, you'll get something else.
More buttons.
What?
Maybe a knuckle sandwich, but
Jay wants to actually hear it this time because we didn't have anything against Rocky last time. We told him it couldn't be done, so he wants proof this
yeah, that's
time.
why I'm saying anything.
Well, if you want to make this a community effort and put it out to all our viewers, that whoever finds it gets some buttons, that's
Yeah.
fine. But I expect cold hard cash.
$2 coming your way.
All right, guys. So we're coming up to the end of the show here. So the next thing is shameless self-promotion. I'm going to start it off with, like Jay was saying, or we were talking about earlier, was that I did a video earlier, a live stream earlier today. I guess it was too early for Jay because he was still sleeping, of course.
Dude.
But yeah, if you go to that link right there, I did a live stream on how to do OpenCore, how to actually install OpenCore. I think the stream for the actual installation only took about maybe 15 minutes. The rest of it was just fluff. So, that's how easy it is to do. Brock is in here. He's done it many times already. It's gotten a lot easier. And so I'm going to do some more stuff with that and maybe make some more videos with it later on. But also there is if you want to know how to do it without watching a video, because a lot of people like to actually read the stuff, you can go to mac-yak.com. And I have a write-up up there with a bunch of facts also that Jay was asking questions about. And
Oh, you posted
no,
it?
I didn't post it. I thought you did.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, not yet.
Okay. Well, it will be posted tonight. So go to mac-yak.com and you can find the new post that I did on there. So, but thanks to Jay's help for going through it, and he's going to try it tonight to see if my process works or not. So we'll see.
Indeed.
All right. Who else has got anything going on?
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've got a totally unmac-related thing happening on Sunday my time, Saturday night US time. I
Don't
will
say
be
Windows.
live streaming the recapping of an Amiga 600.
I will be there to watch that.
If there are any Amiga fans
Oh
out
yeah,
there,
I used to
will be-
love Amigas, man. A friend of mine, I had a friend of mine.
What time is that again, Bruce?
It'll be Saturday night US time, and it'll be Sunday probably about lunchtime here.
So about 10 o'clock at night our time, roughly.
Probably something like that, yeah.
So just to tell you a quick story about that, I got a friend of mine that's a ham radio operator, and he basically believed in Amigas. He had one of those Amiga 2000s, and he swore by it. He had the Windows or the PC card in it, all that stuff, He would not. He was like us with Macs. He would not touch Windows or PC. Amigas was his thing.
Yes, Cyoneer Amiga 600 is the really tiny one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, look, I have seen some. I was never an Amiga person. I have an Amiga 500 now that I got as a trade for someone that I did some recapping for. And I've recapped a few Amiga 1200s, and I can see the appeal. I really can. I mean, these things they have the kind of tight knit little community and everything like that, and those things had the most amazing gameplay and graphics. In color, just absolutely wonderful. So I can definitely see the appeal. It's not really my thing, other than the fact that they have leaky capacitors. That's my thing. But yeah, I can definitely see why people, are a bit fanatic about Amigas.
Yeah,
But
there's
expensive.
There's a video that I watched sometime in 2018. I'll put the link in the chat. If anyone's familiar with the YouTube channel Retro Man Cave, he did a video that was the fastest Apple Mac. Is it an Amiga? Fact or fiction? And there's an Amiga there with a very fast CPU and an FPU. And there's some emulation software, but since the Amiga has the same type of a processor, it's not really emulation. It's more of like virtualization. And go watch the video. I'm putting the link in the chat now. It's a good watch. And I was very surprised by the outcome. I'll just say that.
Yep.
And speaking of more Amigas, Retro Recipes, they found that was it an Amiga 2000 or 3000?
It was at a studio, yeah.
It was in the studio when they made Titanic, so there was original footage on that drive, and they had to try and rescue it. The computer was in pretty sad shape, but they ended up restoring it, backing up the drive, and it was kind of a touch and go there, because I remember when they first turned it on, they popped the power supply, and they thought that it killed it.
It was set to the wrong voltage.
It was terrible. Oh, you could see the guy who just completely fell to pieces.
Yeah.
But they ended up saving it. It's a good episode. I think two or three episodes. I think on Retro Recipes. and it was really neat what they found. So
Yeah, yeah.
those
it
Amigas
was-
were no joke, man. They were. I had a couple buddies in high school who were all 100% pro Amiga, and they teased me all the time about being a Mac guy, and I thought, yeah, well, we'll see who's around in 5 or 10 years. And
Guess what?
I was just joking. I didn't think Commodore was going to tank, but they did. So, yeah.
All right. Anybody else got anything they want to shamelessly promote before we move on?
Nope. Working on a top secret project. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And
I-
it involves that big black thing in the middle of your frame, right? Using it.
That's a time machine.
All right, guys.
I will. I am continuing to mess around with the Voodoo stuff. Hopefully, a video will come of that soon, and I'll be in an undisclosed location this weekend. Hopefully, doing something good. So
Cool.
everyone will benefit from that.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes, I know where you are.
All right. So, guys, that brings us to the very end of our show here. Unless Dana, you got anything?
I have fairly actively been working on changing the art on my channel. Right now my work has been more in the house itself, clearing my basement out, getting ready to have new flooring installed, paint the walls, get it all looking nice. That's going to be my work area / display area for my collection, and I've been really looking forward to it. And now things are finally moving along. As far as channel content, it's going to be a little bit of everything. I'm going to be working on Macs. I'm going to learn how to recap, thanks to Bruce and Steve, and do a little bit of that, and also a little bit of just other things. Working on cars, working on different projects around my house. Maybe eventually taking trips and going places, and just going to be me doing stuff. That's basically it. Because
Cool.
There'll be plenty of content for Apple related stuff, Mac related stuff, but I also have the Eagle Moss DeLorean collection. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. You basically sign up and you receive different pieces, different kits once a month to assemble a model of the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Oh, that's cool. How big is
And,
the final version supposed to be?
I want to say it was like 1/8 scale. It's fairly big. I mean, it's probably
Oh, jeez. Yeah. It's
Wow.
and
sizable.
it's high quality parts and stuff, but it takes you like 2 years to get all the parts because they send it once a month. But there's also other things that come with it, like documentation and graphic books sometimes, and different things that come with the kit other than just the
Cool.
parts. So it's kind of interesting. I've got them all still piled up. I haven't even opened any of them yet, and I figured I'd do one kit per video and make a series
Make
out of
sure
it.
none of the kits are missing pieces before you do the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. The boxes
what's
are
up?
sealed, so if they're missing, it's their
I
fault,
hope
not
so.
mine.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that comes to the end of our show, which we always close with joining us on Discord. We do have a Discord server. If you guys want to join, the link is up there on the video there. So go ahead and do that. We also have a Twitter account. I don't know if you sent out the tweet or not there, Mac84, Steve.
Yes, I did.
Okay. So we do have a
Just
tweet.
now?
No
As you said
respect.
it.
Yeah.
No respect at all. No respect.
But
Tweety.
Steve is the owner of the Twitter account. I own the MacYac channel here pretty much. Well, we all own it. Okay. We all take ownership
I
of
am
it.
the current facilitator.
Yeah, I'm the facilitator of the channel. So therefore, guys, go to our Discord channel. When you get there, if you're new, you're going to see only one channel and think that it's empty. But it's not. You have to do some reading and actually agree to something before you actually can be part of the MacYac team. All right? Yeah, it's well, no, it's in this side. Yeah, right there. See? Right there. But anyways, guys, go ahead and join us over there. We do have some voice channels, so we do sometimes hang out on voice over there. So give it a shot and let us know what you think about it over there. If anybody's got anything else, make sure you like and subscribe this video. Remember, we're still doing the giveaway. When we hit 1,000 subs, I will do a giveaway, and you'll go to episode number 69 in order to watch that one to figure out how to get into the giveaway. All right. So if you're new here, make sure you go watch that episode. That is the one you need to watch. All right. So make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Again, we only broadcast this once a week. So hit that bell icon because you're only going to get one notification a week, and that's when we do this on Thursday nights. Okay. We don't do any uploaded videos to this channel. This is a live stream channel only. There is no pre-recorded video that we put on here. So, guys, that's it. I think
You're getting good at that whole. It flows, man.
that's because we've been doing it for a year and a half now. All right, guys. So,
Hey, real quick, there's a guy, Mr. H, says he's still waiting to be accepted on Discord. Or
I know
something
you
like
have
that?
to type the secret word.
yes, Mr. H.
Correctly.
Correctly.
Get in.
There's a secret word you
Okay.
have to type, and it will automatically let you in. In fact, I think we were discussing that the other day about that. He kept trying to type the wrong word in, and it didn't work. You have to type it in as it's in.
You
As
can't
you
follow
see
the
it.
rules. Maybe you shouldn't join. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. So we do that so you
Just be
guys
careful.
read the rules
Fine.
because we do have some rules and we do take them very seriously on our server. It's not something that we just let it's not a Wild West server. Okay. We're basically,
It's not a wild eep server.
yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
All right. So guys, take care and we will see you all next week.
See ya.
Later.
Later.